In this video, I want to demonstrate the use of a couple instructions that we use that mimic the if statement in C++. They are the BEQ and BNE that you'll find in your book in section 10.7. BEQ is branch if equals, and BNE branch if not equals. These instructions allow you to compare two values that are stored in registers, so you can see the format of the instruction is here, comparing the value of register 1 to the value of register 2. Then you will branch or move to a different location in your program. This here is a label indicating another location in your program. Let's move over to Mars and take a look at a program I've created using branch equals. So here's the problem I'm trying to solve. If length is equal to width, see out, the rectangle is a square, display the message. Else, end your program. So I would like to take this C++ if statement and rewrite it using MIPS. And I did do that here. So let me walk you through what we have. In our .data section, I have a variable called length, and I'm initializing it with the value 45. So it's a .word because it's an integer. Then I have a variable message with the statement that I want to have display if the two values are equal to one another. The rectangle is a square. In the .text, here are my instructions. So I show you two different ways to load values into registers. The first way is a load from memory. So this takes the value that's stored in length, right now it's 45, and it loads that value into the register T0. The second way is a user entered value. And if you look at your cheat sheet that's available, the link is available in Blackboard, on syscall values, you'll know that you need a 5 to perform a user entered read from the console. So I'm going to load the value 5 into V0, call the system, and then take that value that the user entered, which is temporarily in V0, and move it into T1. So now my length is in T0 and my width is in T1. So there are my two values that need to be compared to one another. So now we can begin our if statement, and I'm going to use BEQ. I'm just going to scroll down so you can see the full length of the program here. So branch if equals T0, T1. So if T0 is equal to T1, I want to move to this location in my code. This is a label indicating a new line in my program where the program should begin execution anew, basically. So let's examine this before we talk about this next statement on 23. So I'm going to move to display message. At the label display message, your program will pick up, so you just want to include the statements, the syscall, to display the statement that we've stored in the variable MSG message. In order to do that, you need a syscall for, load the address of message into register A0, perform the syscall. Once these statements have been executed, you will naturally then just move to the next line in your code. That's line 31. 31 is a syscall 10 to end the program, and that is absolutely correct. So if the two values are equal to one another, display the message, end your program. But what happens if the two values are not equal to one another? So if T0 does not equal T1, you're not going to branch to display message. You are going to move to line 23, your next line of code. So you need to think a little differently than you would in C++. In C++, if these two are true here, if this statement is true, you're just going to go to the next line of your code. Here, if these two are true, you're going to jump, move to 25. If they are not equal to one another, you'll go to the next line of code. So it's a little bit of reverse thinking.